What the establishment, the system, is trying to do is show that rich people can get away with genocide by bribing the young and healthy and getting everybody fighting back for spoils. It's a raft of the Medusa situation. David Bowie was found out to have been telling the truth as an insider when he said this is genocide on with the circumspection on his album DD for Diamond Dogs and Didi Mancini, the Neva gang, the Hitler Reagan show business that pulled Lenin Houdini, and corrected themselves by saying that someone who knew nothing about it, a completely hapless, deaf person who they picked up by the tail, was to blame for the whole thing. A child who they battered. I mean, there was obviously organized by the unions and the hardcore. They all went all out. I mean, you could see that by the person who set up the Lampoon gesture of crisis initiative by Leslie Katz. I mean, she came over to my house, made out with me after she got that letter. She didn't misunderstand it. She gave it to Brian Kopp, who connected me to Akrim Madani. Get it? King Crimson Midori, Akrim Madani, who was like with Peter Balaki and the Armenian, the Levantine syndicate in higher education at Mellon who have tons of money. And CCMU is sort of a siesta for mixing elixirs for the military industrial complex. They have robotics and they can do teleportation and read thoughts, the Elon Musk stuff. So you can see how completely it was organized. They said that a neurological implant was my brainwaves. And Hustler magazine was absolutely deviant about it. Nobody even considered stopping the people who were racing around school buses and informing the public. I went to the NAACP. I went to the Pittsburgh Public Schools. I went to the Pittsburgh Post Gazette. The Post Dispatch were hopping mad that I had gotten a postcard from Fripp to give to Adrian Belew. They were hopping mad. They were beside themselves. They were pissing on each other. I went to the Pittsburgh police, obviously. I told Christine Cecilia about it in college. Who didn't I tell? I told everybody what was going on. I showed them the investigation, explained the research. What the senior faculty protecting their tenure through dog wars of Pennsylvania did was pay off some chicks to sleep with me. And then they came, like pigs, We got to see this guy's action. Set up a spy peep. But it was all unscripted. I mean, when I say it was organized, it was brazenly organized. The personas subjected to successive degradations of the X-Mode. So they have this thing going called a war on theft. And they get King Thorold, to declare the undeclared war on sex. So we're not allowed to have sex, right? And to show why we're not allowed to have sex is because sex leads to the to Gaza and Palestinians breeding like jackrabbits, you see? And Nosferatu, who has to borrow billions and billions of dollars that honest Americans have invested in alternative means to save school buses, and so they can sweep all of these excess children off the planet. with 2,000-pound bombs. And not only is this true and connects all of the dots, they brag about it. They don't make any secret of it. They never apologized to me for after Shulman was arrested for helping him run me out of town. Seattle Clubhouse is still defending him as perpetrators of his racket. They never tried to catch the person who was the driver at Kelly's school. Never. I gave them every lead and every prospect of apprehending that stupid motherfucker. That malicious and despicable stunt driver who worked for Tom O'Connor, because they backed Tom O'Connor. He gets into the prison to rape people or something. I have no idea what all he does. That he was helping Shulman and Ming Na Wen set this whole thing up. He comes up to me and says, "I'm a realist, James. I'm a realist." Who's he speaking for? A person who writes ghostwrites and looks spitting image of that Louisi kid, Adam Eisenstadt, when he doesn't have Palestinian brows. Had a visitor who was the most suspicious person who worked for Shulman at his house on a regular basis. A ghostwriter for Toon. One of the people who worked at that museum has a book called Don Wentworth. Where it went, what was it worth? And if you think they had some guy named Don Timmerman, Don Timerman, Don Collar for the 1025 Liverpool. They had it all set up. It was a hooligan network to prey on people's spiritual side in seduction. Because the fundamentals weren't sex. We can't have sex out of wedlock. We're going to have two versions of the Russian Orthodox Church is going to Emperor Ignacio, the ecclesiastics of the matter. They didn't, when all this snotlery and snivelry, what do? They come out with their guitars and go and say, "I just want to make love to you." You get all of these people hyped to think it's normal and okay just to bang a girl in a gas station. And inundated the planet with this and then release the virus. Ha ha. And Lennon even has a movie called How I Won the War. Nobody says, if we think abortion is genocide, rather than do it to children, what we should do is outlaw abortion and explain to people that we will start epidemics if they start legalizing abortion. And we will mass murder toddlers if they have abortion. And Mike Johnson will say, to you. And they should say, rather than do this, we want to reduce population growth to save the planet, not from the oil companies, but from people who oppose reckless driving around school buses. We must save the planet from them. We must. They're humanists. Humanists are the greatest threat to America since communism. We must save the planet from school bus drivers. We must kill school bus drivers. They did kill one. They killed a school bus driver. Yep. Now they're going to save the planet by telling us, honestly, they're going to stand up at the PTA. Doesn't that grab you? They're going to stand up at the city council. Doesn't that grab you? They're going to stand up at the school board, man. They're going to stand up. They're going to fix their tie. And they're going to tell the President of the United States of America that we can only procreate if we apply properly and get married, with incentives for those who only have one. They're going to do this through normative democratic processes. And how do we know that? because they murdered a school bus driver, because they drove recklessly at Kelly Elementary, because they robbed our museums, because these patriots exterminated the children in Gaza. So we know that they mean well. They mean well. You can believe John Schulman in Hustler magazine. Who would buck Hustler? Ringo Starr has endorsed Hustler magazine, man.